The perfect target. The crystalline spires of New Shanghai pierced the amber sky like daggers, their surfaces reflecting the dying light of Earth's setting sun. Kira Velen watched from her perch on the 157th floor of an adjacent building, her chameleonic skin perfectly matching the polished titanium surface beneath her. As a Meridian assassin, she was bred for this work, waiting, watching, analyzing. Her secondary eyelids blinked sideways, adjusting to the glare as she tracked her target through the quantum glass windows of Helios Defense Industries. Nathaniel Blackwood. The name tasted bitter in her thoughts. He'd risen from nowhere 5 years ago to become the most powerful defense contractor in the Sol system. His company's innovations in shield technology had single-handedly shifted the balance of power between humans and the various alien confederacies. The Meridian Collective considered him a threat to galactic stability. That made him Kira's problem. She'd spent 3 months studying him, learning his patterns, his weaknesses. Unlike most humans, he had few. No vices, no scandals, no leverage points. He worked 18-hour days, lived in a modest apartment despite his wealth, and maintained security protocols that bordered on paranoid. Tonight was the first real opportunity she'd had. A late meeting with his board of directors, his personal security detail reduced due to an unfortunate accident she'd arranged on the Lunar Express. "Target is moving to the conference room," whispered her neural interface, highlighting Blackwood's heat signature through the building's walls. Kira's fingers instinctively checked her weapons, a monomolecular wire garrote, neural disruptor, and backup plasma dart. The last was technically illegal in Earth space, but dead assassins didn't worry about fines. She activated her phase shift harness, feeling the familiar tingle as her molecular structure became partially quantum entangled. It wouldn't last long, maybe 30 seconds, but that was all she needed to pass through the exterior walls. Timing would be everything. The board meeting was ending. Directors filed out, leaving Blackwood alone reviewing holographic projections. Perfect. Kira counted down, waiting for his security sweep to complete its cycle. 3, 2, 1. She phased through the wall in complete silence, her body resolidifying behind Blackwood's chair. The garrote was in her hands, ready to end this with quick efficiency. But something was wrong. The holograms weren't showing financial reports or weapon schematics. They were showing her surveillance footage, mission logs, DNA sequences. Her DNA sequences. "Hello, Kira," Blackwood said without turning. "I've been expecting you. Actually, I've been watching you watch me for the past 97 days." Her muscles tensed, ready to strike anyway, but she felt the distinctive hum of a containment field activating. She was trapped. "Don't bother with the phase shift," he continued, finally swiveling to face her. "The field's quantum locked. Neat trick, though. We hadn't seen that particular model before. Mind if I ask where you got it?" Kira remained silent, her mind racing through escape scenarios. The window? No, too far. The ventilation system? Sealed. She was well and truly caught. "You know what impressed me most?" Blackwood leaned forward, his dark eyes intense but not unkind. "The Lunar Express job. Taking out 3 of my best security people without leaving a single trace of evidence. That's when I knew you were exactly what we needed." "We?" Kira spoke for the first time, her translator converting her native clicks and whistles into smooth English. "Humanity is at a crossroads, Kira. We've got technology we barely understand, enemies we barely know, and allies we can barely trust. What we need isn't another weapons system or defense contract." He stood, walking to a wall safe that opened at his approach. "What we need is someone who can move in shadows, who understands both humans and aliens, who can eliminate threats before they become wars." He removed a small data crystal, placing it on the desk between them. "This contains evidence of 3 separate alien species planning first strike attacks against Earth. The Meridian Collective, your employers, are backing all of them. That's why they sent you after me. Not because I'm a threat to galactic stability, but because I'm a threat to their plans for human extinction. Kira's inner eyelids flickered rapidly, her species equivalent of a frown. You expect me to believe the collective would betray its own principles of non-intervention. I expect you to look at the evidence and make your own decision. He deactivated the containment field with a gesture. Kill me if you want. My security teams won't reach us in time if that's your choice. But first, ask yourself this. Why would I risk my life just to show you this? Kira's hand tightened on the garrote, then slowly relaxed. In 15 years of wet work, she'd developed an instinct for lies. Blackwood was either telling the truth or was the greatest deceiver she'd ever encountered. Either way, she needed to know more. You have 10 minutes, she said, settling into a chair. Convince me. Blackwood smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Let me tell you about Project Oracle, and why we've spent the last 3 months interviewing you for a job you didn't know existed. The sun finished setting outside, casting the office in shadows. In those shadows, two figures from different worlds began a conversation that would either save humanity or doom it. And Kira Velen, the deadliest assassin in known space, found herself wondering if perhaps she'd been hunting the wrong prey all along. The interview. The holoprojector hummed to life, filling Blackwood's office with a 3-dimensional star map. Hundreds of red dots pulsed across human space, each representing a potential attack vector. Kira's inner eyelids clicked rapidly as she processed the information, her assassin's mind automatically calculating strike patterns and strategic implications. These are only the ones we know about, Blackwood said, manipulating the display with practiced gestures. The collective has been positioning assets for years, hiding them in plain sight. Shell corporations, research outposts, even humanitarian missions, all sleeper cells waiting for activation. Impossible, Kira countered, though doubt crept into her voice. The collective's founding charter explicitly was written by the same beings who are now planning to break it. Blackwood's fingers danced through the hologram, zooming in on a particular sector. This is New Eden Colony. 3 days ago, their atmospheric processors mysteriously failed. Official report blames human error, the reality. He pulled up a sequence of chemical formulas. Nano-sabotage, specifically designed to look like maintenance oversight. Kira studied the data, her specialized training allowing her to spot the subtle markers of artificial degradation. It matched patterns she'd seen before in operations she'd rather forget. Why show me this? Because the interview isn't over. Blackwood pressed a button on his desk, and the office walls suddenly became transparent, revealing a massive testing chamber beyond. Combat drones, puzzle matrices, and what appeared to be a full xenological research lab surrounded them. You've proven your physical capabilities over the past 3 months. Now I need to know if you can think like humanity's protector, not just its potential executioner. The floor beneath them began to descend, bringing them into the heart of the facility. Kira's combat instincts screamed for action, but curiosity, a trait her handlers had always warned was dangerous, held her in place. 4 scenarios, Blackwood explained as they reached the chamber floor, each one based on real threats we're facing. You'll have to decide. Eliminate or preserve, protect or sacrifice, trust or verify. Every choice matters, and there are no purely right answers. The first scenario materialized around them, a perfect holographic recreation of a crowded spaceport. Civilians of various species hurried past, their projected forms indistinguishable from reality. Kira spotted at least 3 potential threats immediately, but something felt off about the pattern. Colonial Shipping Hub, Blackwood narrated. Intelligence suggests a collective operative is about to release a biological agent. You have 90 seconds to identify and stop them. The catch: our intel could be wrong. And if you target the wrong person, you'll trigger an interstellar diplomatic crisis. Kira moved through the crowd, her assassin's training working against her now. She was expert at identifying the perfect kill, but preserving life while hunting a killer. This required a different mindset entirely. The Centaurian female caught her attention, slight irregularity in her breathing pattern, a human businessman checking his watch too frequently, an elderly proximan whose environmental suit showed signs of recent tampering. 70 seconds. She tracked their movements, mapping intersect points and behavior patterns. The Centaurian was having an affair, the businessman was late for a meeting. But the proximan, the custodian, Kira announced with 15 seconds to spare. The one emptying waste bins. The proximan is a diversion. The simulation froze. Blackwood raised an eyebrow. Explain. Custodial service badge is genuine, but the uniform weave is wrong. It's made to look worn, but the wear patterns don't match actual use. They're collecting samples from each species' waste for calibrating the bioweapon. The proximan is meant to draw attention from anyone looking for suspicious behavior. A slow smile spread across Blackwood's face. And how would you handle it? Tag them with a quantum tracker. Let them lead us back to their lab. Better to find the weapon source than just stop one attempt. Kira tilted her head. That's what you would have done, isn't it? Welcome to Scenario 2. The spaceport dissolved, replaced by a research facility. This time, you're protecting a scientist who's developed a defense against the bioweapon. 3 assassination teams are incoming. 2 are collective. 1 is human corporate. The scientists' research can save millions, but they're also secretly planning to sell the data to all sides of the conflict. The next 4 hours passed in a blur of increasingly complex scenarios. Each one forced Kira to question her training, to see beyond simple elimination to the wider implications of every action. Some required violence, others demanded its absence. All tested not just her skills, but her understanding of both human and alien nature. Finally, the simulations ended. They stood again in Blackwood's office, the night sky of Earth glittering beyond the windows. Kira felt mentally exhausted in a way no physical combat had ever managed. One final question, Blackwood said, studying her with those intense eyes. After everything you've seen and learned tonight, about the collective, about humanity, about yourself, what do you think your real mission was? Kira met his gaze steadily. The collective didn't send me to kill you. They sent me to be recruited by you. They wanted an agent inside Project Oracle. She flexed her fingers, feeling the familiar weight of her weapons. The question is, did you know that from the beginning, or did you figure it out during your interview? Blackwood's expression remained carefully neutral. And if I did know, then we're both playing a deeper game than either of our employers realize. Kira moved to the window, watching the city lights below. The real question is, what's our next move? That, Blackwood said softly, depends entirely on whose side you've decided to be on. The night stretched out before them, full of possibilities and dangers. And in the reflection of the quantum blasts, Kira Valen, assassin, recruit, and possible double agent, allowed herself a small smile. The game was indeed deeper than anyone suspected, but perhaps that's exactly where she needed to be. Would you like me to continue with Part 3? The story is building toward the revelation of multiple layers of deception and ulterior motives, while developing both the characters and the complex political situation they're navigating. Hidden agendas. The secure elevator descended deep beneath Helios Defense Industries, each sublevel requiring increasingly complex bioscan authentications. Kira noted every security measure, every potential escape route. Old habits died hard. Beside her, Blackwood stood with the casual confidence of a man on his home ground, but she caught the subtle tension in his shoulders. The collective isn't the only player in this game, he said as they passed sublevel 30. What I'm about to show you, let's just say even my board of directors doesn't know it exists. The elevator stopped at sublevel 42. The doors opened to reveal a vast chamber filled with technology that made Kira's specialized combat implants tingle. Rows of quantum processors lined the walls, their crystalline matrices pulsing with calculations. In the center, a massive holographic display showed thousands of interconnected data streams. Welcome to the real Project Oracle. Blackwood gestured at the streams of information. The most advanced predictive modeling system ever created. It processes data from millions of sources across known space. Communications, trade patterns, ship movements, even social media trends. It doesn't just track what's happening, it predicts what's going to happen. Kira watched the data flows, her enhanced vision picking up patterns within patterns. The collective would kill for this technology. They already have. Blackwood's voice turned grim. 6 months ago, someone leaked information about Oracle's existence. 3 days later, our chief scientist was found dead in her apartment. Natural causes, apparently. Except the collective doesn't leave evidence of its assassinations. Kira finished. She would know. She'd carried out enough of them. Exactly. But here's where it gets interesting. Blackwood manipulated the holographic controls, bringing up a new dataset. Oracle predicted the assassination. It also predicted you would be sent to kill me. And it predicted I would try to recruit you. Kira's inner eyelids flickered rapidly. You're saying nothing that's happened tonight was really a surprise? Oh, it was full of surprises. Blackwood smiled thinly. Oracle predicts probabilities, not certainties. It gave us a 72% chance you'd accept the initial conversation instead of trying to kill me immediately. A 45% chance you'd make it through all 4 scenarios with the correct insights. And a 31% chance you'd figure out you were sent here to be recruited. And what probability did it give for me actually joining your cause? Before Blackwood could answer, every screen in the facility flashed red. The holographic display shifted, showing a massive movement of ships across multiple sectors. It's starting, Blackwood breathed. Sooner than we predicted. Kira studied the tactical display, her military training recognizing the pattern. This isn't just an attack. It's an invasion force. The collective isn't acting alone. Blackwood's fingers flew across the controls, bringing up more data. They've allied with the Proximan Empire and the Centaurian hegemony. Each had their own reasons to fear humanity's rising power. Together, they could actually succeed in wiping out the human race. Kira felt a cold certainty settling over her. But that's not their real goal, is it? No. Blackwood turned to face her fully. This is about Oracle. They don't want to destroy humanity. They want this technology. With it, they could predict and control the development of every emerging civilization in the galaxy. They could ensure no species ever rises to challenge their dominance again. New alarms began blaring. Security alerts flashed across multiple screens. We have a breach, Blackwood announced, his voice tight. Multiple levels. They're already here. Kira's combat implants surged with activation signals. How? This facility is supposed to be impenetrable. A new voice echoed through the chamber. From the shadows emerged a figure Kira had hoped never to see again. High Commander Vex of the Meridian Collective, his crystalline exoskeleton gleaming under the emergency lights. Excellent work, Agent Valen. Vex clicked in their native tongue. You've performed your function perfectly, though I suspect you didn't realize exactly what that function was. Kira's hand moved to her weapons, but Vex raised a dismissive appendage. Oh, don't bother. Your combat implants were deactivated the moment you entered this facility. Didn't you wonder why Blackwood's security systems never detected them? They've been under our control the whole time. That's impossible, Blackwood started, but Kira could see the truth settling into his features. Unless Oracle was compromised from the beginning. Not compromised, Vex corrected. Created. Did you really think humans developed predictive technology this advanced on their own? We gave you the foundational research. We guided your development. We helped you build the very weapon we needed to ensure our dominance. Kira's mind raced through the implications. The assassination attempts, the recruitment, the invasion force. It's all been orchestrated. Most of it. Vex's crystalline features shifted in what passed for a smile among their species, though some variables remained genuinely unpredictable. Your final choice, for instance. Oracle could never quite agree on what you would do when the truth was revealed. In that moment, Kira Valen, assassin, recruit and pawn in a game larger than she'd imagined, faced the most important decision of her life. And as klaxons blared and invasion forces descended upon Earth, she realized that sometimes the deadliest weapon isn't the one in your hand, but the truth you choose to believe. Would you like me to continue with Part 4? The story is now positioned for a major confrontation and revelation of the final layers of deception. The choice. Time seemed to freeze in Oracle's chamber as Kira processed the situation. Her combat implants might be compromised, but her mind, her natural-born instincts, remained sharp as ever. She noted 7 hidden weapon emplacements in the walls, 4 collective shock troops cloaked in the shadows, and the slight tremor in Blackwood's left hand that suggested he wasn't as defenseless as he appeared. An interesting theory, Commander, Blackwood said, his voice steady despite the chaos unfolding around them. But you made one critical mistake in your calculations. Vex's crystalline structure flickered with amusement. Oh, do enlighten us, human. You assumed Oracle was your creation. Blackwood's hand moved slightly, and suddenly the massive displays surrounding them shifted, showing new data streams, when in reality, it's something far older than either of our species. The chamber's lighting changed, revealing geometric patterns embedded in the facility's very architecture. Patterns Kira recognized from ancient ruins across the galaxy. Her inner eyelids widened in shock. The precursors. The same beings who uplifted the collective 50,000 years ago, Blackwood continued. The same ones who left their technology scattered across 1,000 worlds. We didn't build Oracle. We found it. And we weren't the first to do so. Vex's amusement vanished. Impossible. The collective would have known. Would they? Kira interrupted, pieces falling into place. Or would the same faction that's been manipulating both sides keep that information hidden? Even from you, Commander. The hidden weapon emplacements suddenly activated, but not as guns. They projected a complex energy field that filled the chamber with swirling patterns of light. Ancient symbols and equations danced through the air. Oracle isn't just a prediction engine, Blackwood explained as the patterns intensified. It's a test. The precursors left these facilities across the galaxy, waiting for species advanced enough to find them, understand them, and make the right choice when the time came. And what choice is that? Vex demanded, his crystalline form vibrating with barely contained rage. The choice between power and progress, between control and cooperation. Blackwood turned to Kira. That's why you're really here. Not as an assassin or a recruit, but as a witness, a representative of both worlds. The chamber's energy field consolidated into a single point of light between them. Within it, Kira could see images of possible futures, countless branching timelines showing the consequences of decisions not yet made. The collective's leadership isn't planning an invasion, Kira realized aloud. They're running scared, because humanity found Oracle, decoded it, and chose to use it differently than any species before. We chose to share it, Blackwood confirmed, to make its predictions available to all species, not hoard them for ourselves. That's what terrified them, not our weapons or our expansion, but our willingness to give up the ultimate advantage. Vex moved with shocking speed, his crystalline arms extending into razor-sharp weapons. Enough. The collective will not allow. The collective already has, a new voice announced. From every display in the facility, faces appeared. The High Council of the Meridian Collective themselves. Stand down, Commander Vex. Your faction's attempt to prevent the inevitable has failed. Kira watched as Vex's shock troops lowered their weapons, their true loyalties finally revealed. The commander himself seemed to shrink, his crystalline structure dulling with defeat. You knew, Kira said to Blackwood. You knew I'd figure it out. Oracle gave it a 97% probability. He smiled, the highest prediction it's ever made. Because you, Kira Valen, represent something unique. Someone who understands both the old way of power and secrets and the new path we have to forge together. The facility's alarms finally silenced. Above them, The invasion fleet was standing down, following new orders from the real collective leadership. But Kira knew this wasn't really the end. It was just the beginning. "So," she said, looking between Blackwood and the High Council's transmission, "what happens now?" "Now," Blackwood replied, "we show the galaxy what real cooperation looks like, starting with the truth about the precursors, their tests, and why they left Oracle for us to find." The chamber's lights returned to normal, but the ancient patterns remained visible in the walls, a reminder that some secrets were meant to be shared, not hidden. And as Kira looked at the future timelines still swirling in Oracle's display, she realized she wasn't just choosing her own path anymore. She was helping choose the path for all sentient life. Would you like me to continue with the final part? The story is now positioned for its resolution and the revelation of the precursor's ultimate purpose. New beginnings. The weeks following the failed invasion transformed the political landscape of known space. Kira stood at the window of Helios Tower's newly constructed Interstellar Cooperation Center, watching ships from a dozen different species dock at the orbital platform above. Each vessel carried representatives eager to learn about Oracle and its implications for the future. Still expecting assassins, Blackwood asked, joining her at the window. He'd traded his corporate attire for the formal uniform of Earth's diplomatic corps. "Always," Kira replied, her inner eyelids flickering with amusement. "But perhaps not today. The latest Oracle predictions suggest a 92% chance of peaceful integration. Better odds than we had for recruiting you." He handed her a data crystal, different from the one he'd shown her that first night. "The precursor archives are finally decrypted. I thought you should see them first." Kira inserted the crystal into her neural interface. Information flooded her consciousness. The true history of the precursors, their great experiment, and the purpose of Oracle. Her hands gripped the window's edge as the magnitude of it hit her. "They weren't testing our technological advancement," she whispered. "They were testing our capacity for trust." Every species that found Oracle faced the same choice, Blackwood confirmed. Keep its power for themselves, or share it with others. In 50,000 years, across thousands of civilizations, no species chose to share, until humanity. But why? What was the purpose? The answer came from behind them, spoken by the synthesized voice of Oracle itself, now freed from its predictive constraints, to reveal its true nature. Because the galaxy faces a threat that no single species can overcome alone. The facility's holographic systems activated, showing a visualization of space far beyond known territory. At first, it appeared empty, but then Kira's enhanced vision detected it. A darkness moving between the stars, consuming light itself. "The void," Oracle explained, "a cosmic entity that devours civilizations. The precursors discovered it too late to save themselves, but they had time to prepare the next generation of sentient life. They seeded the galaxy with Oracle facilities, knowing that only species capable of true cooperation would have a chance against what's coming." "How long?" Blackwood asked, his voice tight. "At current velocity, the void will reach the outer edges of known space in approximately 300 years. Sufficient time to prepare if all species work together. Impossible odds if they remain divided." Kira studied the projection, her assassin's mind already analyzing weak points and strategies. This is why the precursors uplifted so many species, isn't it? They weren't creating servants or successors. They were building an army. An army that must learn to trust each other, Oracle confirmed. The void cannot be defeated by weapons alone. It requires synchronized action across light years, countless civilizations working in perfect harmony. The precursors believed that any species capable of choosing cooperation over power would be capable of leading this union. Blackwood turned to Kira. "That's why your role is so crucial. You've walked both paths, the way of secrets and the way of trust. You can help species make the transition." "Already being reformed," Oracle reported. "The High Council has recognized the truth. Evolution requires change, and change requires trust." Through the window, a new ship was approaching. Sleek, powerful, and unlike anything Kira had seen before. Its hull bore markings from multiple species, including human and meridian designs. The first joint project, Blackwood explained, a deep space research vessel designed to study the void. Its crew will be drawn from every major civilization, and they've requested you as their security chief. Kira's inner eyelids blinked in surprise. Me? A former assassin? A bridge between worlds, Blackwood corrected. Someone who understands that the deadliest force in the universe isn't a weapon or even the void itself. It's the fear that keeps us from trusting each other. The ship drew closer, its design a testament to what different species could achieve together. Kira thought about her journey. From killer to candidate, from assassin to architect of cooperation. The irony wasn't lost on her. When do we begin? She asked. We already have. Blackwood gestured to the gathered ships above. Every species that joins us increases our chances against the void. Oracle predicts that with full cooperation, our success rate rises to 87%. And without cooperation, 0, Oracle stated simply. Kira touched the window, her chameleonic skin reflecting the combined lights of 1,000 ships. Then we have no choice but to trust each other. There's always a choice, Blackwood said quietly. That's what makes it meaningful. As the sun rose over Earth, casting new light on the assembled fleet, Kira Valen, no longer an assassin, no longer a recruit, but something entirely new, allowed herself to embrace a foreign emotion. Hope. The galaxy faced its greatest challenge, but for the first time in history, it would face it together. And somewhere in the vast database of Oracle, a final prediction scrolled across its ancient circuits. Probability of species unity achieving transcendence, 100%. The precursor's faith was not misplaced. The end.